This conference will now be recorded.
So if you look here, a few of our ads, we absolutely are going to share the incentives. We want to do it in a way that is not too aggressive. We want to make sure that we show it, but we also have that the business is open and it's essential. We're also stressing the point that you should call or visit us online. These are things that are important. And also highlighting service. One of the first things that we did was we put up a banner on social media and we used it within our paid campaign that basically highlights every precaution that this business is taking in order to meet the demands of social distancing and to deal with what's going on with the pandemic. So we made sure that all of that stuff was communicated and it was clear, not only in the paid campaign, but again within the social media campaign. So you can also see here, Merced Cares. These are ads that say, hey, we care about what's going on. We're here to serve you, etc. And so we made sure that we had a warm approach in everything that we were doing in terms of the ads. So from that, I think it's really important that everyone sees what we're actually doing in terms of digital, so you can get an idea of what took place from an overall standpoint from digital, and then what we did specifically for our dealers. So I'm going to pass it over to Billy, and he's going to walk you through the digital portion.
All right, thank you. Now, we talked about how data plays a crucial role in setting our strategy. Using tools like Google Trends gives us a window into how people are using search in real time. This chart is based on Chevrolet specific searches. What you'll notice is that there was a significant drop in early March, but since then there's been a steady increase week over week. And while few industries saw an uptick in search volume, the good news is that this trend lends itself well to what we know about June through August being incredibly strong months for auto searches. So setting your strategy and tactics now lets you hit the ground running. We also looked at data from an actual client, and what we saw was CPC and CTR, so cost per click and click-through rate, trends in March and April that are consistent with overall market trends. Now, the reduction in CPC is due to a decrease in competition. So many advertisers slowed or stopped their spend altogether, resulting in a 45% decrease in ad cost while we saw an increase in engagement. This will be important to note as we move forward through this presentation. And so as we mentioned, you succeed by pairing solid insight, data, and creative for success. Testing is something that we do on a regular basis, which is A/B testing, messaging, images, copy. So we test images and copy until we find the right mix for the target audience. And what you're seeing here is a direct result of that. And we saw higher engagement on social media ads that are relevant to today's circumstances. So this particular ad saw 0.57%, where we typically see 0.49%. Now, the next slide is the client traffic. And in continuing to look at this as a real world example, while there were fluctuations in ad performance, on-site traffic remained steady. Well, what does that mean? Repeat visitors and retargeting are more important now than ever. So those who have visited your website, engaged with your social posts, they're all hand raisers. And it's less expensive and more effective to work this audience and stay top of mind. So those who were in market pre-COVID continue to show high end market signals and should be targeted. So now let's look at some trends. So fluctuations in spend definitely creates a window of opportunity in the local market to stay top of mind. And while there may be less foot traffic and short-term declines in needs, there are savvy consumers out there who will take advantage of great deals and low interest rates. But there will be price sensitivity and many will jump on the opportunity to save. Again, it's why it's important to stay top of mind because our end market customers continue to do research and they will be ready to make a deal when the right message is presented to them, which leads to Service will continue to play a key role. Timely responses, ensuring contact information is updated on social profiles, simplifying the process, being customer centric, and remembering that service will always be essential. So what now? How to tackle digital, right? As the old adage goes, while others are selling, you should be buying. Right? Many competitors are going to slow down their advertising. And if you have the ability, it's important now more than ever to lean in and use this opportunity to gain share of voice. It's going to put you in a stronger position as ad cap costs continue to rise. The other trend that we're seeing is that because people are not leaving their homes as often to go and shop, is that you want to focus on model specific searches versus things like dealership near me. And this will continue to keep your ad costs low. It's also a good time for you to focus on building brand affinity and build your retargeting audiences. So if you're running a 30-day audience window where you're retargeting people based on 30 days, it's going to be important to increase your retargeting out to a full 90 days to be ready to deploy once you have your messaging set. And then the final thing is really to increase your budget on social. And it's this idea of fishing where the fish are. Because more people are spending time on social, it's going to give you an opportunity to take advantage of a captive audience. And then, make sure that you're highlighting that you're open. Make sure your social profiles are up to date with hours. And if you don't have a system in place, invest in a way to schedule appointments that offer minimal contact and reduces friction. And then you want to focus on ad messaging, low rates, low payments, but continue to test headlines with images to determine what works best. So we're going to take a look now at a case study. This is a California dealership that we did work with, continue to work with. And what they saw was 80% of the dealership's core competitors reduced their spend or stopped spending altogether in April. They did not. So as a result, their advertising costs dropped by 45%, allowing them to gain that share of voice and to stay top of mind. Because of them continuing to move on, right? Go ahead, John.
No, sorry. So what does it mean? Our dealer partner was able to exceed his sales objective by 230%, which is pretty impressive when you kind of consider what's going on in the industry right now, but also in his particular market, which is highly competitive. We've seen over the last 30 to 45 days his competitors retire from the arena, and at the very least, they're cutting back on their ad spend, as Billy has said. So we've seen digital and social engagement increase, cost per click start to go down substantially. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very limited window of opportunity to gain share of voice and increase your individual market shares, because we're starting to see that the states are beginning to loosen those stay-in-place orders, and local markets are starting to open back up probably within the next, I would say, 30 days. So folks, we've unpacked a lot of nuanced information in a very short period of time. And at this point, you should kind of understand what our approach to a campaign would be. Also, how we've kind of adjusted those campaigns based on market conditions. What you should be taking advantage of right now is the cost. Knowing that these prices that we're seeing right now for cost per click, both in social and digital, they're not going to last forever. And in fact, they're actually changing as we're speaking. So what we like to do is to take the rest of this time. I know that each one of you may have your own individual circumstances and you may have questions, and we wanted to spend the rest of our time on this call answering any questions that we might be able to. That's a few. And if there's something in particular that you might want to discuss with us and not necessarily within front of the group, my contact information is here up on the screen, and you'll be able to reach out to me directly. So with that, I'd like to just open it up to any questions, or Damon, if you want to take it from here.
Thank you, guys. Any questions? Please just utilize the chat feature. want to piggyback while see if anyone chimes in, just on the fact that right now we have a finite window of opportunity that I think either you, Sean, or Gerald just mentioned, that you have a 24-hour, 365-day dealership that's open digitally, and but we have a finite window of opportunity to get your name out, to increase your loyalty, and be able to touch a footprint of your competitors that you may not have ever been able to do. As I've mentioned on a couple other calls, that we have an opportunity right now. There are really no large or small dealerships right now. All dealerships are equal, and this is a prime opportunity for you all, particularly our minority dealer body, to be able to seize the day, so to speak, and cast that web out as wide as you can digitally, and probably just as less expensive utilizing your marketing dollars or ad dollars that you've been using in the past. So I just wanted to make that point. But we do have a great opportunity here. Any questions?
If nothing else, again, Damon, I'd like to thank you for your time. And my contact information, again, is up on the screen. I'm assuming, Damon, you can make the deck, or we can send it over to you and make the deck available to the group. And again, I hope they find value in what we've stated. Again, I cannot stress a 230% to objective a month of April. But this is all based on staying in market, not backing away from your advertising, and leaning into things that work. And right now, from a digital standpoint, social, that's where your money should be funneled. If you're at billboards or regular TV or any other type of media, you might be wasting your time there. Nobody's in their car driving around, but a ton of people are, doing the battle of the DJs and posting social media posts. And that's where you're seeing most of the play right now.
All right. Well, thank you all. We appreciate it. Just as a quick housekeeping note, we do have another webinar scheduled for this Thursday, May 7th, hosted by Automotive Mastermind. So please stay tuned for that. We will be sending out that announcement later on today, and this webinar, as well as this deck, will be posted on our website, and we will also send that link out later on this evening as well. So with that said, I want to thank you guys at AdWater. Thank you for all that have participated today. And please be safe and take care. Thank you.